Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from 510 Books. It is Monday, August 12th, 2024. And this is everything that sold over the weekend on eBay for me. I didn't have any Amazon sales, unfortunately, but I did have 12 eBay sales and some really great ones. None of them were lots, they were all individual sales. And I've broken them up here by how old they were, how long they've been listed, how long ago they were listed. So like the oldest to the most current stuff or most recent stuff that I've listed that's sold. Again, I'm seeing, so like all six of these here from all these over, those 5 CDs, that one book, are all older stuff that I've listed 2+ years ago. This in the middle is a little less than a year. This over here is very recent. Some a few days in the last week, and one, when was it? I don't remember, but in the last month or so. So there's I'm still seeing a lot of older stuff selling. And while I didn't have as many sales as I had last weekend, I did have some high dollar sales, which is really nice. And I didn't list as much this past week, so I didn't put as much new stuff up just because of the craziness of what was going on. Just a lot of stuff going on. And it's been 4 weeks. This is not related to business, but it's been four weekends in a row that my kids have had soccer tournaments. So pretty wiped out with that, and there's not going to be any more of that for the rest of the month. So anyway, be able to do some other things, but that kind of just took the wind out of my sails. But nonetheless, this is what's sold. Some really good stuff, some stuff that's really low priced. As you can see, it's a mixture of media, right? It's books, DVDs, and CDs. I actually sold more CDs than anything else. Something else before I dive into what things sold for is I recommend running promotions. So number 1, take offers. If you don't take offers, you're really missing out on a lot of sales. Number 2, run promotions. So what I mean is percentage off. Usually I do like a sale, markdown sale, where it's 20% off, and I'll do it based on how old everything is. So right now I'm running something that is pretty high percentage off. 37%, but it's all over stuff that's I either did it a year and a half old, listed a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, I can't remember, all the way back to when I first listed, or I listed the first items in my eBay store, and I'm selling stuff that way. But then also I have stuff that's a little kind of mid-range, where it's more than 6 months to a year and a half. I can't remember exactly what I put, but that stuff's 21% off. And I'm selling stuff that way as well. So if something's been sitting for 6 months to a year, it hasn't sold yet, unless it's super rare, going for a lot of money, I'm going to want to, then I understand, right, that it's taking a little bit longer. But if it's something that it's not super rare, whatever it may be, it just hasn't sold, I need to discount it. So use those tools that eBay offers. Otherwise, you're going to get less sales, period. If I didn't run promotions, I would not be getting a lot of these sales. So keep that in mind. So these are all older ones. This one I should have never listed. I'm not going to make any money off of. I'll almost break even on that because it was free shipping. This one I sold for $9. Baby for Sale, Dan Gabriel. I think it's stand-up. Obviously, it's stand-up comedy. It doesn't say where it came from, but that's listed for a while ago. Let's see. Okay, this one I bought back in September of 2022 from a guy who brought in a bunch of CDs, actually multiple times, and there was some really good stuff that he brought, but this took quite a while. This sold for $18.89. It's called Find a Happy Meal. So, but that's the thing, even though it took a while to sell, at least I got $18 for it. That's not bad, this one wasn't worth it. But I say this one, not you shouldn't have 500 ones like these, CDs like these that are going to take 2 years to sell for $18. But I'm just saying, it's better than this one, which was pretty bad. So you learn, right? You learn. Let's see. These two came from the same bunch of Gaylords that I bought back in November of 2022. And this one sold for $39.49, and this one sold for $24.96. Now, here's an example of a foreign language CD. Whoops, that you have to look up. Obviously, I can't read that. So you have to look it up, find out what it is in English, put the English in there as well as the original language, and you can be able to sell it. This is from Taiwan, and it took a while to sell, but it did sell for decent money, almost $25. So that to me is worth it. This one here is also worth it because it sold for $39.49. It's called Heavy Machinery by all of these people. These niche ones can take a while to sell, but they're worth it as far as I'm concerned, because you can sell something like this basically multiple times a week. You can sell, stuff that's more rare, harder to find. This one was one of the best sales of the weekend. It's called Solved, The Riddle of Heart Attacks. This came from a woman who I did about 3, maybe 4 trips to her mother's house and then to her house to pick up books. And I also ended up getting some other stuff as well, but mostly books. Lots and lots of books. Probably, dozens of boxes over the time that I did the pickups. They're all pickups. And her mother had a lot of these types of books that were health related, but they're vintage most of them were from the 70s. I think this is from the 70s. There were some from the 60s, but a lot of them from the 70s here, 1976. So this one is apparently super rare. It took a while to sell, but it sold for, believe it or not, guys, $150. $150. So if you ever come across this one, definitely pick it up. Now, again, this is an example, a learning moment, right? Or if you saw this on the shelf, Solved, The Riddle of Heart Attacks, would you just pass it by? I'd look it up. Solved in red, Riddle of Heart Attacks. To me, that sounds interesting. When I saw the cover, I'd say, oh, that looks interesting. It looks funky. It looks different. It's not just saying, how to prevent heart attacks. Preventative measures for heart attacks. It's solved. It's very definitive. The artwork is old school. It's an older book. A lot of times these thinner books can do well that are older. And so I would just be on the lookout for things like this. The things that stand out, right? The style, the age, the content. It's a little bit general, but it's also very definitive. So keep that in mind. These are from this one I got in a thrift store in December of last year when I was going to thrift stores every week. Bought it for $1. It sold for $15.79. Be Good or Be Code Feel Good. I think it might be electronic music. I'm not 100% sure, but it's a single, and it sold for decent money plus shipping. And that was at the thrift store. This one, this was a donation in November of last year from somebody who's donated a lot of books to me. So it was a free book, and it sold for $15.60. Dragon Harper by Anne McCaffrey, who wrote a lot of books. And these are all the most recent ones that I've listed. This one sold for $42, guys. A real nice one. Look for this DVD, A Moment of Innocence. Now, it is sealed, so it's going to go for more because it's sealed. But I'm sure if it's unsealed, it still goes for decent money, probably like $30 or something. This one came from a bulk buy. I spent $60 on, I think it was a couple of months ago. Within the last month to 2 months, a woman who's brought me a lot of DVDs. I got hundreds of DVDs for that $60, and I'm already in the profit for a while now, so that was a really nice sale. Look out for that one. This one I just listed. It was a donation. I think it was the one I talked about. Let me see. I'm trying to remember. It was the 16 boxes that I picked up locally. I made a video about it, and this sold for $14.99. I couldn't put it on Amazon, so I sold it on eBay. Remember that, guys. If you can't put it on Amazon because it's gated, you need receipts, that kind of thing, you can always look to eBay to sell it. So turned it into a $15 sale plus shipping. This one was a great sale. Look for this, guys. It's rare. The Chase with Charlie Sheen and Christy Swanson. I think it's from the 90s, 93. So look for this one. This particular copy too goes really well, or sells well. For $49.99 I sold this. So again, if you see it on the shelf, the Chase, don't think, oh, it's just some silly It might be a silly movie, but it's a silly action movie. I'm not gonna look it up. There's certain ones that can be worth big bucks, and that's one of them. This was the best sale of the weekend for a lot of reasons, for what it went for and for the kind of the story behind it. I bought this at the thrift store July 23rd, 2024. Today is August 12th. So it only took a couple of weeks to sell. Leon's Desert, and actually I only listed it within the last week. And it listed immediately. The Saga of Leon Lasica, I think, Lasica, America's Greatest Conservationist by Duncan Hunter. So, would you pick this up if you saw it? I would. I did. Because it's very specific. I also looked it up, of course, when I took it off the shelf at the thrift store, but a lot of people must have passed on it. It was signed by both of them, by Leon, who has passed away, and Duncan Hunter. This guy was, as it says, a conservationist in California, the Salton Sea. Lots of pictures of him and the things he did, and animals, and his history, and all of that. I couldn't find one copy for sale online when I looked it up. When I went to first found it, and when I listed it. So how much do you think it sold for, guys? Take a moment to think. What do you think it sold for? It's signed by both of them. Couldn't find any copies. You already saw the post-it, right? Well, it sold for $199.99. I had it listed for more, actually. I took an offer, which I'm totally fine with because I spent $1 on it. So this is another example of lots of resellers passing up stuff like this. Scanning, probably not even pulling this off of the shelf. To me, it's interesting. Like Leon's Desert, like what's that about? I don't know. Let me pull it out. This looks like it. Not many copies were made. You can tell it's kind of like amateurish. It looks to be. I mean, look at it inside. It looks a little amateurish. You know, it's not a professionally. I mean, it is and it isn't. I hope you know what I mean by that. You can tell the difference. And yeah, picked it up for $1. So when there's no other copies available and it's signed and you can get it for $1, definitely pick it up, guys. So just keep that in mind. Hopefully there's some tips that help you. Sales are picking up, and keep listing good stuff. I have more stuff to list this week. I have a bunch of stuff on Amazon to list, but more eBay stuff as well, which I'm excited to list. So keep on finding that good stuff and getting it up there, because sales are definitely picking up already. All right, guys, see you in the next video. Take care.